Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations in Horror, the podcast. I am your host, Kevin L. Powers. I'm also the owner, operator, and confection extraordinaire for Something Wicked Entertainment in Advance, and we want to welcome you to the show where we kind of delve a little bit into everything that's involved with horror, whether it's from different decades or from different subgenres. We kind of take a little bit of all of that in stride in order to present you with an hour or so conversation in which you can delve deep into a particular film or genre. Today, we are doing a very special episode in which we are going to actually present our top film or top favorite films of 2024. And to help me go through this huge list of films is the amazing Sarah Panazzo and Philip Ray. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks for having us.
All right. So as you all know, we're getting a little late to this top 10 for 2024, but better late than never. That's what I always say. So we're going to start from our bottom of our list at number 10 and work our way up. I'm going to say that, Philip, you go first, and then Panazzo, and then me. And we're going to hope that when one of our films, we say one of our films, and it's higher up on our list for one of the other two, we will just kind of talk about it all at the same time so that we don't repeat a lot of the stuff again. So, Philip, take it away.
All right. So starting with me, my number 10 film is Trap. So Trap was the M. Night Shyamalan movie about a serial killer who gets trapped in a concert and is trying to get out. When I saw the trailers for that, I got peeked with the trailer. I was like, oh, okay, this seems kind of interesting. And overall, I liked it. I thought Josh Hartnett was such a great choice for the lead. He does a great job. I mean, it really is his story. And I thought he did a great job overall. It is a little hokey at times, and there's a lot of times he just gets out of it through sheer luck. And it definitely lowers the quality of the movie, hence why it's my number 10. But there's so many false endings in the movie. So many. Every time you're like, okay, that's the end of the movie. Nope, it keeps going on. It has three or four false endings. So that's why it's number 10. But because of Josh Hartnett alone, that made me still enjoy the movie enough to make it my number 10.
I do love Josh Hartnett so much, but Kevin, this is on the bottom of my list.
What, is it below 10?
Yeah, I watched 36 movies that were made in 2024, and it is literally one of the last two in that list of 36 because I couldn't do it. I stopped paying attention halfway through, and I had to explain to my husband. He was like, I don't get it. It's really good. I was like, no, if you've grown up seeing like early M. Night Shyamalan with The Sixth Sense, then this is like, okay, it's whatever. And my husband then revealed to me he had never seen The Sixth Sense, so we watched that instead. And he was like, okay, now I get it.
So, for me, this was also number 10, Philip.
Oh my God.
And well, the thing about it, and so this is what makes the film really well crafted and a very highlight for me. One of the things is the cinematography for this fucking movie is amazing. The cinematography is absolutely amazing for this film. Now the false little endings remind me a lot of an Alfred Hitchcock film. That's what I took from this film. This film reminds me of someone trying to emulate a modern day Alfred Hitchcock film. I was like on the edge of my seat, like when you watch Rope. You know who the killer is, but you're trying to figure out if the guy who's trying to figure out the whole mystery of the movie can figure out that the guys who are there with him are the actual killers. That's how I saw this film. And so I thought I was entertained from beginning to end for this movie. But that also means that, yes, is it like Sixth Sense? No, of course not. I don't think he was trying to emulate that anymore.
No.
I think he's trying to get us far away from that movie as possible because so many people have that movie in their head when they think about M. Night Shyamalan. This is far removed from some of his more recent movies like Glass
Old.
and The Visit and the rest of them. And this one I think works better as a suspense thriller as it does as an actual typical horror film. And I think Josh Hartnett is the biggest thing in this film. I think he is he steals every scene he's in. And when he's not on screen, the film is a little lacking because you see how really nuanced his performance is for him trying to be crazy be a dad.
I didn't realize how much I missed him until I saw the movie.
Yes, I know. You
Oh
don't.
my gosh.
It's like the guy was in so many other things before this, and the only thing I could think of that I really absolutely loved of him was Penny Dreadful, and I think that prepped his performance for this movie.
Well, and that was the most recent one. I mean, he was in The Faculty. He did 30 Days of Night. I mean, he was all over the place for a while, especially when he was younger. And yeah, I'm so glad that he's finally making a comeback because now he's got like 2 or 3 other movies that are being released. So I'm happy that it at least did that for him.
So
Also, when he's not on, and when Josh Hartnett is on stage, it becomes the concert of his daughter, because it full on, like, it's like, oh, this also movie serves as a vehicle for his daughter, and it does not shy away from that, because you're watching sometimes and being like, Josh Hartnett's not on stage, you're like, this is a concert. Like, I'm just watching a concert. Like,
well, you're supposed to, but
sometimes.
But the cinematography for the concert itself
is really well done.
It's really good.
Extremely well done. But moving on, since Panazzo, you didn't think it was that highly rated, what was your number 10?
So I'm going to preface this by most of my top 10 are not in any particular order because I had such a hard time putting them in order. So it is a section of my top 2 to 10 and then my top number 1.
Okay.
So this is just going to be in no particular order because you mentioned it. Oddity was one of my favorites this year. And it kind of goes the same way of the Hitchcock film where you know the way this is going to end. You know what's going to happen. You know who killed the sister. But how does the rest of it play out and how do we get to that ending is just fantastic. It is ridiculously creepy. Oh my God. It gives like stealing objects and cursed objects a whole new lore. And God, if you don't respect those objects already, this movie will make you respect those objects. Because it really is like a Hitchcock film again. And it is just so beautifully shot. The acting is phenomenal. The main actress plays herself and her sister. And it is... I love it. I compared it to Longlegs and what I thought Longlegs should have been. But I absolutely loved this movie.
Okay. I have not seen this one yet. This is on my list to watch. I still have not seen it. But what about you, Philip?
Yep, I haven't seen it either.
Oh, surprising. Okay, you see everything.
Yeah, Irish horror is becoming like the next big thing. I've seen little bits and pieces here and there, and this is another one that pushed it straight to the front. So I'm very interested to see how much this expands, especially with this director. He does such a good job.
All right. Well, getting back to you, Philip. What was your number 9 film?
All right, here's my number 9, and I might get hate on from both of you about it. Why it's so low on my list, but Alien Romulus. So for me, I like the Alien series. So when I saw Alien Romulus, I was excited. The trailer looked good, and when I watched it, I was like, I liked it, but there was a lot I didn't love about it. Unfortunately, this is one of those movies, if you saw the trailers, it spoiled a whole lot, because from the trailers, you already see at least 2 of the characters die, 2 or 3 of them. And so when you're watching, there's really nothing too surprising. Now, there are some moments that are great. There's moments, the acid blood scene, and there's also some of the practical scenes with the face huggers. Again, this movie made the face huggers more intimidating than the alien.
Did you follow the creators? The VFX artists literally made remote controlled face huggers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh my gosh. No, I did love this movie too, Philip. It wasn't on my top 10, but it was a lot of fun. I was like, I'm not big on the lore of Alien like my husband and like Kevin is, but like I thought it was so well done. It was so much fun. It was so creepy. And I mean, I just felt so icky by the end.
Yeah. So the reason why it's 9 for me, not higher, and this is just for me, is I hate when we keep... Me and Kevin talked about this before. Me personally, I do not like a lot of the Prometheus stuff. So I hate when the story gets pulled back to that. And that's what happens midway through the story, is we get pulled back to the Prometheus stuff. Because for the longest time, Alien has been obsessed with getting the human-alien hybrid stuff. And for anyone who's curious if that happens in this movie, it does. And it is a great effect, but for me personally, I was like, I wanted to see us go back to the square roots of aliens themselves. And so when we go back to Romulus, I'm like, Prometheus stuff, I'm like, no, it felt like Ridley Scott, from my understanding, Ridley Scott had a lot of hand in this movie, and that apparently was a little that, and then the cameo from the robot from Back from the Grave was a Ridley Scott choice, and I hate to hear that, because I think if you take that out, this probably would have been one of my top favorite movies this year.
If it would have ended like 20-30 minutes earlier and that would have been the start of the next movie, I think it would have been perfect. But the female body horror, without getting too much into it, like nowhere near as crazy as The Substance, but the female body horror that goes with this is super fucked up. I got really grossed out, and I was like, everything looks like vaginas. Like you said, there's the whole human-alien hybrid that we finally get to experience, and the whole thing is just creepy as all hell. But the silent scene through the side tunnel, where they have to sneak through at like room temperature, is probably some of the best work I've seen in a long time.
I guess everyone's gonna hate me. I hated this movie.
Of course you did, Kevin.
Honestly, no, this is one of my least favorite Fede Alvarez movies because it borrows so much from the other movies.
It really does.
It does. It really
does.
The only thing I liked about this movie was the facehugger scene. This is the only movie sequel that has made the facehuggers dangerous again, which I've been missing. Like, this is that was the one thing I think me and you, Philip, agreed with, that I thought was the best sequence in this entire film, although it doesn't fucking make any sense for there to be that many freaking facehuggers. There's a lot of
that's bad. It makes it worse when they establish there's only one alien, and then later on they show there's a billion. It's like, whoa, wait! I thought you established there's only one alien here. Why is there like 20 of them?
Yeah, exactly. That the logic started to go out the window, and I actually did like the Ian Holmes robot returning. I didn't like the plot crap, the complications they threw in there. I thought that was kind of stupid, but I did like the idea of them linking it to that movie. I hated, like you said, the stuff they tried to link with the Prometheus stuff. But I do think the only character I found incredibly interesting was what they did with the android character, who I can't remember his name.
Yes, he did a great job. I loved that. He did a fantastic job with acting from point A to point B. It was unbelievable acting on his part, and I'm so excited to see him. And then the main chick has actually been in a lot lately too, so I'm very interested to see where she goes.
Oh, okay. All right, so Panazzo, what is your number 9?
So going off of what I said with Oddity, I'll go with Longlegs, because that one was a lot of fun. I always love a crazy Nicolas Cage movie, and this is him completely unhinged. There were so many moments where I knew where it was going, and you could see the foreshadowing, and it still managed to shock me and scare me and just make me generally uncomfortable with the way things played out. But I thought it was so well done. I loved seeing Micah Monroe come back, and I really love that Osgood Perkins is now like following in horror footsteps like his father. And with The Monkey coming out this year, I see very good things for him in the future.
You've seen his other films, right?
I think so. Those are the only two I'm remembering right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I liked all of his films previous to that, which is why I wanted to see Longlegs and The Monkey. But, I've seen all of the Stephen King adaptations, but I just missed this one. So it's good. I think he started off in a really, really small indie world and then started to, kind of slowly progress up there. And I think he's done a good job.
Yes.
I have not seen Longlegs. It's still on my list. So unfortunately, I'm sure if I had seen it, it'd probably be on my list somewhere. But wait, what do you have to say about it?
I agree. I also wanted to see Longlegs, and it's one of the ones I missed last year.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one of the main ones. I only had a certain amount of time to see certain things in theaters, and I'm glad that was one of the ones that I did, because experiencing Nick Cage in a dark room like that is freaking world changing, and we still quote the movie to this day. So it's one that's going to last for a while, because it is really good. It's really intense.
Well, I guess my number 9 is going to be one that's probably not on anyone else's list, But because I saw so few of these movies, the mainstream ones, I'm going with another. Well, this one did get a theatrical release. It's got a small theatrical release. But of the two arachnid films that came out last year, I loved Sting. I hated Infested. I love Sting. I thought that was a really clever concept. With the extraterrestrial spider, I thought was really cool and what they did with that. I say that because Infested got much more critical praise, but I couldn't get past the fact that that's supposed to be like a Middle Eastern spider that just multiplies when you hit it and grows extremely fast for no apparent reason. And I hated that. I could not. Every character in that movie was stupid. I was like, dude, these people are dumb. But with Sting, I thought it was really clever. I liked the special effects. I liked everything about that movie. And it kept me on the edge of my seat because it had a child actress as the main character. I thought that was really cleverly done.
Yeah, that was one of them that I missed this past year. So it is still on my list to see. Because we did watch Eight-Legged Freaks. And I was like, yeah, spider movies.
Yeah, I missed it too. But the trailer was so good. It's funny because
really
I'm not
was.
Because I don't know if if you guys have had the similar thing, but in the trailer there's a whole whistling scene that you hear the spider whistle back, and now on one of the for Chewy's commercials they have a little whistle. Every time I hear that whistle, it sounds exactly like the spider whistling from Sting. That's all I can think about. Every time I hear it, I think of Sting.
So now you've got Pavlov's spider.
I've got Pavlov's spider.
No, that's the thing is Sting has this one giant spider eventually, but it's extraterrestrial, so it was really cool to see that. And it's not like a normal spider, so it was really cool. But like I said, Infested had like a Middle Eastern spider that when you hit it, it just multiplies and it just grows for no apparent reason. And every character, I'd be like, dude, this movie's freaking stupid. How did this Infested get so many good reviews by critics? Because it was a foreign film? I just couldn't stand that movie. I was like, dude, this is dumb. But there's my number 9. Philip, what's your number 8?
Number 8 is A Quiet Place Day One. So I've seen all the Quiet Places, and when Day One came out, again, I've liked the last two, so I was excited about this. I was a little worried about it being a prequel, but I was curious how it was going to go. And overall, I liked it. Again, the monsters are always done very well. Again, the two leads, you've got Joseph Quinn and you've got
Lupita Nyong'o.
Thank you.
She's brilliant in this movie.
Yeah, she's the best part.
She's always brilliant. I love her.
Yeah, she's always brilliant. She's absolutely brilliant in this movie.
She's always good. Joseph Quinn's okay. He doesn't get as much to do, but everything with her is great. But yeah, I really liked it. I mean, the only reason why it isn't a little higher is because it does get a little. There's a little moments that you get the whole like, okay, they'll be dead. The biggest flaw of the movie is the cat. And they advertise the cat, but the problem is anyone who's ever owned a cat or been around a cat would know this movie could never happen because that cat would have gotten everyone killed. The cat only has one moment throughout the entire movie where it was an actual legit cat. The rest of the time, that cat would have gotten them killed. There's a moment where the cat is drenched in water.
Hey, Phil, have you ever seen the movie Alien?
Yeah, exactly.
I know. But the difference between the two is the cat from Aliens doesn't get drenched gets fully submerged in water for like 3 minutes and is totally chill. That is the chillest cat in cinematic history.
Wasn't she like giving it drugs because she was dying of cancer or whatever?
No, she has
Okay.
that cat. I mean, the cat could have been going off, getting like smoking out when we aren't seeing it on screen. But that cat is the chillest cat in cinematic history.
I did really enjoy that movie too. It is one of the movies of like when they do a sequel that you're like, God, we have another one, but this was an expansion of the universe that we didn't expect to see. And I always love when they do stuff like that. And I thought it was really well done too. It was one of my top ones that I had trouble narrowing down to.
Yeah, well, for me, it was my number 2 film. I put it there because of the performances, really. The special effects are still amazing. And when they do a whole bunch of the monsters, I forget what they're called. They actually gave them a name, and now I can't remember what they're fucking called. But the visual effects for this film were far superior than what the other two movies had, especially when the other two movies had a limited amount on screen at any given time, and there's a shit ton of them on screen at the same time in this movie. I thought that they just upped the ante in the suspense throughout this entire film because there's so many characters and side characters because it's at the beginning of this whole invasion. Makes it much more interesting for me because you never know. Other than Djimon Hounsou's character, you don't know who's gonna freaking survive.
Right, exactly.
So I put this much higher on my list. But that's being said because I hadn't seen so many other critically acclaimed mainstream films. What about you, Panazzo? What's next on yours?
So I'm gonna say my next one is Getaway, which is a British comedy horror. And it was probably, I love Nick Frost, and I know he came out with a ton of movies this year, but this movie takes Midsummer and turns it on its head, and it is so much fun. I cackled half of the movie when my husband and I looked at each other and we were like, are they really doing this? We were like, yes, they are. It was full steam ahead, but basically this family goes on their summer vacation to a small little island who's going through a historical festival where most of their people were slaughtered by the British. So they go there to celebrate because their family was British who used to live there. And the town starts trying to hunt them down, and it is just so much fun. It is, oh my gosh. It's like I said, it's Midsummer, except it is pure dark comedy.
So, did you see this after I recommended it, or did you see it before I recommended it?
It was on my list, and then you recommended it, so I made sure to watch it the next day.
Because I saw this without knowing anything about it. I just knew that Nick Frost had a new film coming out to freaking theater, and I said, okay, I'm watching that. And I was completely dumbfounded by what I watched because I had no clue, none, about the big twist that happens.
I didn't either. We put pieces together while watching it, and that's where we looked at each other, and I was like, I am so here for this.
Yeah, that almost made my top 10 list. It was like right there, like a number 11 or 12. It is where it was, and it didn't make it all the way. Philip, did you see it?
I unfortunately did not.
It is currently on Shudder, and dude, you need to get it because most of these movies we're talking about are on there.
I know. I need to get into Shudder more because that's the only thing I don't have.
You have everything else but that? Oh, Jesus. What kind of person are you? You suck.
How dare you?
Oh, shit. All right. So is it mine?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, so number 8 for me was In a Violent Nature.
Oh.
The first time I saw it, I was like, there's some slow moments in this film, but I like the concept. I liked a lot. This was something I had not seen before, and that's what made me want to watch it again. And I was like, when I watched it again, I'm like, no, it's not slow. This is what happens between all the moments that we never see in other slasher movies. This is absolutely brilliant. I'm like, oh shit, no, this is because I saw it in theater. I saw it.
Oh my gosh!
And I was like, I think I was like one of the only few people in it because I think I saw it as like a matinee screening.
I so wanted to see this movie.
So yeah, so I saw it, and I was like, this is really great fucking gore. Holy crap!
It really is. It actually had the horror chainsaw kill of the year with the yoga death. Which I also voted for because this was also on my top 10. I could not stop talking about this movie. It is the most relaxing horror movie I have ever seen. And I said the only thing it's missing is David Attenborough just talking over it, describing the nature and wildlife while the rest of this happens in the background. It is so well done.
And you know what? That would have made it so much better if David Attenborough was doing something.
I know. I was like, that's what we need next. That's the next step past this. This is the entryway. The next room is David Attenborough
or
doing
Morgan
a nature,
Freeman. You know, they
or
just love
somebody doing a nature documentary. Meanwhile, there's murder in the background killing people, and they just never mention it.
But it's so well done. The only part of
really
it that
was.
I did not like was the ending when it focuses on the last person and not on him, the killer. Like up until that point, I was like, dude, this is amazing. And then for that last little bit, because they have to know, audiences need to know what happens to her. It focuses on her, and that's the only moment where I'm like, oh.
See, I was questioning it at first, and then I realized that they were putting you on edge. They wanted you to think he was going to pop out of anywhere like the rest of the movie. And I thought it was so well done at that point.
That's what I got when I watched it the second time. I was like, good thing I watched it the second time.
Yes, because you're just waiting. You're like, I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen.
All right. Was it on anyone else? It was on your list.
It was on mine, yes.
And then Philip, you didn't see it, correct?
I didn't see it. That one, I almost saw it.
All right, Philip. So
you know what, Phil? It's also on Shudder.
This episode sponsored by Shudder.
I wish.
All right, Philip, what's your number 7?
Number 7 is it's talking about horror comedies. Lisa Frankenstein. So Lisa Frankenstein is the director debut of Robin Williams' daughter Zelda Williams, and basically the way I described it to people is it is Tim Burton like. It is like someone else saying, okay, I want to make my own Edward Scissorhand. And that's what the movie felt like. It's basically about a girl who basically starts to have a weird connection with this undead man played by Cole Sprouse, and shenanigans happened there. I really liked it. Catherine Newton, who will come up again.
I love her.
My top 10. Just did such a great job the entire time. It's just fun the entire time. I enjoyed it. It had one of the best. It did one thing I really appreciate. They have a stepsister who is not an antagonist. She was actually nice the entire time, and you don't see that a lot.
You really don't.
And you go, okay, she's going to be mean, antagonistic. And no, she is friendly the entire time. It is just like, it's just fun. It's just a fun, light, Tim Burton-like movie.
I wouldn't even say it's Tim Burton. It's like watching 16 Candles, except Tim Burton had an influence on it. Yeah. It was another one of my favorites this year. It was 100% a ton of fun, super campy, and I love Catherine Newton. She is just exquisite.
So I like her, but I hated that movie.
I know you did.
No. I like all of Diablo Cody's movies. But this movie I just could not get behind. And maybe it was because I think Cole was not a good actor. I don't know. I watched it once. It was a slog to me. I was not interested at all. I just did not think it was nearly as strong as Cody's other films in terms of the writing. It did nothing for me. And I'm the person who loves Jennifer's Body, and I loved everything else she's done. Like, Jennifer's Body now has a cult following, but when that movie came out and tanked, I was like, oh, that's the greatest movie ever. That's just fucking awesome. I was not that way with this movie. I will one day give it another chance because it boggles my mind that so many people love this movie, and I did not like it.
So I think what it is, Kevin, is the age difference between you and I, and like you and Phil, because Catherine Newton was everything I was in high school. So I think that's what it is it's the new generation kind of horror-esque thing. And that may be why, you know what, Kevin, you're an old man. You can't appreciate good things.
Kevin.
I love comedies that are for this age group. I was book smart, Blockers. Those are fucking great movies.
Oh, yeah.
But this movie did not click with me at all. I was like, and it could also be because, I've seen a billion fucking Frankenstein movies as well.
And we've got like 4 more coming out this year.
And unfortunately fortunately for anyone who's listened to our podcast, I think we've done 5 Frankenstein-esque movies already. So
what isn't a Frankenstein movie?
Exactly. Oh, Jesus. All right. So what was your next one, Panazzo?
Let's say my next one is The Damned, the 2024 The Damned, not the older one that everybody hated. If you didn't know about this one is a folk horror that takes place in like Iceland. It's a small like single house fishing village that starts being haunted by draugrs after a boat crashes near them. And it's one of those like really dark, depressing of like, well, they could have saved these people, but they were starving already in town, so they didn't have the supplies to support these people when they were already starving, so they kind of just let them drown, and then they're haunted by these ghosts and zombies and whatever in the middle of the snow. It's very isolated. It's very dark. And it is probably one of my favorites that I saw this year. Just because like I loved the TV show The Terror. It is right up there with is it real? Is it supernatural? Is it mind games? Is it just the darkness and the hunger driving them crazy? And it is so intense and well done, especially with the like mythology that comes with that kind of folklore. It just plays out and it's so intense.
I hadn't seen that one, but it was on my list.
It is really well done. I highly recommend it for anybody who, like I said, loved The Terror the first season, or just likes more like Scandinavian, Icelandic, whatever horror.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Philip? Did you see that one?
I did not.
I didn't see that either, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But my number seven is going to be an even more controversial, probably infamous movie between the three of us. We'll all see what y'all thought about the movie. But my number 7 was Watchers. Mostly because that's a movie I thought got folklore and mythology story correct, mostly because I think it was based on the freaking book. But the idea of the whole fairy world and the fact that they've been locked up due to human interference, and there are all these random humans who get trapped in this house who are entertaining them, I found really dark, but also very interesting because of the fact that we don't see a lot of fairy movies around or that often. And the fact that the fairies that we do see are little bitty fairies with wings and shit, this one took it a little bit darker for me. And I know a lot of people didn't like this movie, and I know a lot of people didn't like the ending. But I thought the ending played in with the whole theme of the movie, which is why I'm not against the ending for this movie, which I know a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Did you see it, Phil?
I saw, and I'm one of the people that didn't like the ending. The problem with the ending is the very convenient. Why does the main character survive? Because that's what the script said so. It made zero sense at all why she survived. It was just plot convenience. It was okay. It did not make my list at all. I was one. Yeah,
we talked about that before this movie, me and you, Philip. So that's why I said I know it was going to be that way.
Yeah, this one I did not see. Is after Trap came out, and I saw produced by M. Night Shyamalan, directed by his daughter. I was like, nope, next movie, please. But going off what you said about fairy movies, Kevin, you need to watch more Irish horror. And I will let you know that with the film festival I saw last weekend, there is a lot of fairy horror on the way.
Yeah, the thing is, the idea of the elves and fairies and that whole type of folklore comes up like once every 4 or 5 years. And then it kind of, it never really catches with big audiences. You have these random great films that are independently produced and they're done like that. I did not know this one was based on the book until after I watched it, and I'm thinking that's probably why it makes much more sense than some of M. Night Shyamalan's movies, because he goes about trying to create a whole new fairy tale world.
Yes,
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work.
From what I remember, this book was really big on like book talk or whatever it is, what all the hip kids are doing. But yeah, I've noticed the same thing, is that like fairy folklore is either like all fun and chuckles or it's Lord of the Rings. And then we rarely get the like really dark fairy stories. Like what was it? Men which was based on The Green Man, which is also a really bizarro tale. But yeah, we rarely get scary fairies anymore.
All right. So moving on to what, our number 6?
Yep. All right. So my number 6 is Blink Twice. So Blink Twice is Zoe Kravitz's director debut. It stars her boyfriend, Channing Tatum. And basically it is about a woman and her friend getting invited to this island by this rich billionaire who's recently been canceled for some questionable behaviors, and they go on this island and they start partying a little Midsummer like, and then weird things start to happen, and it's very unexplained. And this is one of those movies, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to tell you the twist, because the twist is one of those, it jaw drops. It is such a jaw dropping, like stomach churning reveal, and it makes the movie. So if either of you have not seen it, go see it. It is so well done. It's one of Channing Tatum's best performances he's ever done. There's one great moment he has near the end that's just so good. I highly recommend watching that movie.
It is on my list.
Yeah, same here. It was on my list too, but I haven't seen it, and I can't remember where it's streaming right now.
It's currently on Amazon because it's free with Prime. So
Okay.
I've been looking at watching it, but yeah, I've heard incredible things, especially with the director, because she's relatively new, I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's Zoe Kravitz, like she was Catwoman.
Was it Zoe Kravitz?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zoe Kravitz's first
Yeah,
one.
Zoe Kravitz.
I
Yeah,
didn't
so
think it was somebody else.
So it's her director debut. I mean, she was like Catwoman in the latest Batman movie. And yeah, this is her director debut, and phenomenal. Knocked it out of the park.
Okay. All right, what about you, Panazzo?
So my next one is another semi-foreign one called Cuckoo. I don't know if you saw this one at all, Kevin or Phil, but this one was another one of my favorites. First, I was sold because of the background and what was going on with it, and then Dan Stevens stepped into view, and I was immediately sold. But basically, a family goes to the German Alps, and the daughter of the couple needs a job, and all of a sudden, super bizarre shit starts happening. It is an insane movie to watch. There is so much going on, and everybody is ridiculously good. It's a lot of fun, but it is just super bizarre, and I absolutely loved it.
This is a movie this is, again, I'm going to say this I've said this a couple times, is a movie I almost want to see because I saw the trailer and it will look so crazy, and you got Dan Stevens in there. And I want to almost see it for Dan Stevens because, again, another person. He's gonna be
plays another caricature of something, and he does a great job. And it's like I said, that was the second selling point. The rest of it was great, and then he jumps into the mix, and you're like, I'm sold.
Well, this was on my list of my missed films, which we will discuss at the end of this. But yes, I did not see it, but this was highly on one of my lists that I missed. So. But speaking of Dan Stevens, my number 6 actually has him in it because I had to watch it a second time, and I really had a lot of fun with this movie, which was Abigail.
I didn't even think of that when I was thinking of King Kong.
I don't consider that horror, so I don't put King Kong on my
I
list.
didn't either, but it's funny because Abigail's also on my list, and I'm pretty sure it's on Philip's
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
on my list too.
Well,
yeah, Abigail is number 3 on my list.
It was number 6 for me because number 1, I had to get past the fact that I'm not a big vampire film fan, but the whole concept behind this, I got behind. And it was much better the second time I saw it. I had a lot more fun with it the second time I watched it because every character actor in this film is just hitting 125%.
Oh, yes.
They're just all great. And it makes this film so much fun and so rewatchable. Like,
Yes.
I know I had a conversation earlier about one of my favorite '80s movies, which was Fright Night, which is so watchable over and over and over again. And I feel Abigail is one of those rare vampire films like that, and like Lost Boys that I could just rewatch a billion times and never get tired of.
It's so much fun. And it's one of those things like, I know they spoil the whole twist in the trailer, but how else do you sell it? It's like trying to get people to go see From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
At some point they had to give away the twist because you have to have people who aren't fans of the film go see it.
Yeah.
And that will get them in there. But yes, it was so much fun. I loved every second of it. It is a blood extravaganza.
Yeah.
It's so good. The actress that played the main vampire she does such a good job.
She went above and beyond. I know that she herself is like a ballerina, and so she wanted to put that into her character, which I absolutely adore. But everything else this company does, because it's Radio Silence, right?
Yeah, I think it's Radio
Silence. So everything else they've done, I've been a fan of. So I had to go see this movie, and it's just exquisite.
Yeah, I wish I had seen this one at the theater. I missed it at the theater because of my lack of wanting to see vampire movies. But when I did finally see it on video, on Blu-ray/video, I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I missed this movie." It's like, yeah.
I wanted to see this based on the directors because they did one of my other favorite horror movies of the last 10 years, Ready or Not.
Yes.
So as soon as I saw it was them, I'm like, and I saw the tone of this movie, I'm like, this is going to be a fun movie.
It was Ready or Not. It was the recent Screams. I was sold. And then I saw the cast and I was like, okay, this is fantastic. A bloody ballerina. It's like watching what we wanted Cabin in the Woods to be after they revealed the monster ballerina.
So okay, moving on to number 6, Philip, or number 5, Philip.
We're at the top 5.
Yep.
My top 5 is Heretic. So Heretic is about, you've got everyone's favorite Hugh Grant as the antagonist. He is the story's about these 2 Mormon missionaries who go to this house owned by Hugh Grant, and he basically ends up kidnapping them, and it's a whole metaphor, and it's a whole discussion about religion, and it's just done so well. You take Hugh Grant and you make him a psycho killer, sign me up. As soon as I found that out, I knew I wanted to see this movie, and he does a great job the entire time. He does such a great job between being intimidating and just being so friendly, and it's just great. They do a very good twist about who you think is the lead, who's the femme fatale in the group, and I was very surprised with that. Both the main actresses did such a good job. It does a great job of what its message is trying to be, and it just nailed it for me.
This was another one of my top 5s.
Yeah.
So I love that Hugh Grant has gone from like rom-com king to now doing like Guy Ritchie and evil Hugh Grant movies, because he is just wonderfully creepy when he wants to be. And I love Sophie Thatcher. Her and Companion this year has been amazing. It's one of my top films of the year so far. But I love religious horror, and this was one of them that you don't know you don't know what is going on, whether it's real, whether it's religious, whether it's all inside your head. And it's so well done. It leaves you questioning so many things. And like, it gives you that whole thing of, would you have the will to survive in a situation like this as well? Because these girls are just genius with trying to figure out how to escape.
I have not seen this one. I keep not seeing this one, just like some of the other more mainstream movies, although I really wanted to see this when I saw the trailer. I really like Hugh Grant and this current period that he's going through.
Yes, 100%. I am here for anything else he decides to keep putting out.
Mm-hmm. All right, where we are? Number 5. Oh, number 5. For me, or did we go? Who are we on?
Well, so I need to skip a couple because you guys have said a couple of mine, so I've only got 2 movies left. Okay,
so I'm gonna go with my number 5, which is Humane. I I loved Humane mostly because it's a political horror film, and I actually like political horror films. And I thought that having this family having to decide who should be sacrificed when they're all pretty fucking bad, I thought was brilliant. And the fact that it always, I don't know, do you see the Humane yet?
It's been on my list because I love Caitlin Cronenberg. I mean, I love any of the Cronenberg, so that was like, I have to see this.
That was the reason why I saw it too. If it hadn't been by one of the Cronenbergs, I probably would not have seen it. But when it came out on Shudder, I had to see it. I think it was Shudder. Yeah, I think
it is. Yeah.
I had to see it because I heard so much about it, and there are just not enough political horror films out there, especially one so topical as this one, which is one of the biggest drawing points for it. Now, I do think that at sometimes it may drag a little bit, but I think because of the way the actors are, because the actors are so good, they keep the ping pong conversations back and forth going at such a great pace that you never feel like there's a lull anywhere. So that's the number 5 for me was Humane. All right, Mr. Phillip, what was your number 4?
Number 4 was Nosferatu. So Nosferatu is Robert Eggers' modern adaptation of the famous Dracula Light Nosferatu, basically. And yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you think it'd be. Everything's in black and white, and it has just a really good cast. Lily Rose Depp, I thought, did a really good job as the lead. The design for Nosferatu was very interesting because it was different, and it took me a bit to get used to, but eventually I got used to and stuff. But overall, it's just good, solid cast. Everyone's good acting. Gladly Aaron Taylor Johnson had this to go back onto after having Craven come out like almost the same month. So
hey, I like Craven.
We'll talk about it later.
That's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother podcast. But gladly he was able to remind people that he can act. William Dafoe, who's always great in everything he's in. So it's just, again, it's really good.
Okay.
The only reason it's not higher for me is that I do feel like it's a little slow at times, but also that's kind of the point at the same time. But yeah.
So Phil, have you read Dracula?
I have.
Okay, and which Dracula movies have you seen?
I have seen the. What was the last one I saw?
Too many to name.
Okay, like have you seen the Gary Oldman Coppola one?
Dracula.
I did not see that one.
Okay, so going off of that one, have you seen the old school Nosferatu from the 30s?
Yes.
Okay, if you combine the two of them, it basically makes this movie. Which is probably where you're missing out, because Gary Oldman is Dracula, and it's got Keanu Reeves and what's her name?
Winona
Ryder, Anthony Hopkins. Great movie, but this is tied for my number 1 because 1, I love Robert Eggers. 2, yes, Dracula has always had a special place in my heart, and how hard this movie fucking went. Like, I know they were on location in Romania. They gave him the nice, crazy-ass mustache that he would have had as a count in Romania, because that is just how Bram Stoker had pictures of him in the book. And the sets were just perfect. I saw a deep dive on how his tomb is actually, like, based on Polish folklore, which is realistically where Count Orlok would have come from to Romania, and just everything there. The acting was astounding. I wanted to sob with Aaron Taylor Johnson, and the pain and loss that you see on his face and on Nicholas Holt's face throughout the movie is just so intense. Freaking love Ralph Ineson and Willem Dafoe bringing the like lighthearted comedy in it, because it has to lighten up sometimes, because there's some moments that just like will shake you to your core. But I thought it was so artistically brilliant. And I know this is something that Robert Eggers has been working up to his entire life. Like, this is his baby. If he could make any movie, this is the one he wanted to make. So I did a lot of research going into it beforehand, and just Bill Skarsgård too. Like, I still can't picture that as him being Count Orlok, because he went through so many vocal lessons with opera coaches to reach that different register. It's just insane. The makeup, the props, the setting. I loved all of it. It was so well done.
I have not seen it yet. I know it's hard to say, but it's streaming now, and I'll get around to seeing it. But I did not see this one, so I don't have much to say about it.
Yeah.
I am a huge fan of the original one, and we just did a special episode on the Werner Herzog '79 version of this. But I'm really curious to see how much it actually borrows from Stoker's original novel versus the actual original 30s version of Nosferatu, which tried its damnedest to not be as close to Dracula as possible. So
I feel like it does a healthy mixture, because one of the things Egger said he wanted to do was expand on some of the other characters, which is why it's mostly from is it Mina in this movie?
Is it Mina? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think Ellen Hutter. That's who she is. They're the Hutters. It's not Mina and what's his name? Yeah.
That's right.
So it's Ellen Hutter. So it's a Mina similarity. But yes, the expansion on that whole mythology with it is very well done.
Yeah.
At least I think it's a phenomenal movie.
Well, also remember my whole thing about vampire movies. So,
oh, Kevin, it is not light and romantic in this movie. It is dark.
I don't mind dark vampires. I don't mind romantic vampires. I don't mind a lot of different things. The vampires, I grew up in the 80s when they were like really the good vampire movies, and then we became in the like late 80s, 90s where vampires were everywhere and they became like shit. And of course they had the resurgence of vampires came when Twilight was huge, and then everyone just knocking those movies down, so everyone had to create the opposite, which we got 30 Days a Night. And I was like, whatever, fuckers.
Hey, that was there before Twilight. It was a graphic novel.
Yes, it was, which I've read. I've read all of them.
No, you will be happy to know this goes like old school lore with vampires and does it down and dirty.
Yeah, this is not a vampire that, again, this is not a vampire where you're like, oh, he's sexy, I'm gonna fall in love. No, this is, which is funny because there were still people who looked and go, damn, I think this Nosferatu is sexy, which is a problem for if you hear people say that. You
yeah, he's literally got a decomposing body, so it's real gross. Well, but like you feel the intensity between them, and it's some kind of hunger, but not necessarily of that kind.
Well, I'm a huge fan of the Murnau's original Nosferatu.
Yes,
which is why when I watched the '79 version, I was like, it looks pretty, it looks great. It goes too close to Dracula, but I know it's one of your favorite films, both of you now, and it's on my list, and so hopefully after I've caught up with the more mainstream films, I will be able to say my top 2024 films will be different. All right. So Panazzo, do you want to do yours? Do you want to skip so that we go in that? What was?
Yeah, let me skip because I've only got 2 more of my top ones that we haven't talked about.
What are we on? Number 4? Number 3? No, but number 4. We're on number 4. So number 4 was the one I think you recommended to me, Panazzo, which was Late Night with the Devil.
That's another one of mine,
Kevin. I absolutely love this movie. I thought it was brilliantly conceived, and it was not what I was expecting when I saw it. I thought it was like, holy shit, this is a really good. And thankfully I didn't see it at the theater. I saw it on I think that was Shudder too.
It might have been Shudder. I know I saw it on streaming as soon as it hit because we missed it in theaters. But yes, it is on Shudder as well.
I think it was theaters too.
So I saw it streaming on Shudder. Shudder is going to get a lot of great reviews from.
Oh my gosh!
I saw it on Shudder, and I thought it was absolutely. I was like, dude, I was just into this movie the entire time, and even with the ending, where it kind of breaks its own rules, I was like, I don't fucking care. I still love this damn movie.
See, I didn't mind it at all because it reminded me of Ghostwatch.
Yes, which I just recently watched too.
I know. And I was so excited with it. I love everything about it. It's so much fun. Growing up watching Svengoolie, I felt like I was
Yeah.
watching another one of those type of shows. And just catching the little glimpses here and there that you may or may not miss is really well done.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to rewatching this movie because I've only seen it one time. I'm actually looking forward to rewatching this one. So,
Because, yeah, if you saw it in theaters, you have to watch it at home so you can pause it. And oh my gosh, it's so fun to be like, did I really just see that? And then it's like watching Paranormal Activity for the first time where you see the little glimpse of something in the corner and you have to pause it and rewind it to catch it in full. It's so much fun.
what about you, Philip?
This was another one. I really wanted to see it. I saw the trailers. It
Oh, you
looked
haven't seen it yet?
great, but I didn't get a chance to see it.
That's okay. We're gonna slap each other for not seeing the same movies. All right, what was your number 3? Philip?
My number 3 is gonna be a skip. It was Abigail.
Abigail? Okay, so we talk about Abigail. Panazzo, you want to skip?
I've only got one left, so
You want to save it?
I'm gonna save it unless you guys want me to bring it up because I'm pretty sure Phil has seen it.
Not yet. My number 3 is probably another polarizing movie, and I can't believe people aren't talking more about this. And it could just be because I have read the books. I know about the family. I know about the filmmakers. I know about all this crap. But I absolutely fucking love The Exorcism with Russell.
Yes.
I fucking love The Exorcism because it was so steeped in the mythology of them making the movie The Exorcist and the actual actors and all that. The writer director put all this real life information into this movie, and I thought crafted a really brilliant movie, and no one saw it, and no one's talking about it, and it just boggles my mind.
Once I found out that's what it was about was the reason why I saw it. After working on The Exorcist like 2 years ago, I love The Exorcist. I grew up watching The Exorcist when I was like 10 years old. I remember her spider walking down the stairs. So I had to see this because I've also like heard the mythology. They did the whole bit on Cursed Films for it. And the fact that the son is the one directing this in the first place, it's just brilliant. It had its bits and pieces where I was like, okay, this is... okay, it is what it is, but there was the heart of it was really, really good.
And I think Russell Crowe did a great job on this film, much better than what was in The Pope's Exorcist. Just wanted to be priests in movies now.
Yeah, I think that was because I didn't get a chance to see it, but I think that was probably in its detriment having Russell Crowe in it again because everyone just melded the two movies in their brain. Like, they're like, wait, didn't I just see this movie out in theater?
It's the Pope trilogy. We're waiting on the third one.
Oh, which is funny because if you've seen The Pope's Exorcist, they're probably working on trying to do a franchise like the Conjuring films that really feels they took a real life person and kind of melded it into this fictionalized type of story. Like, we're going to make more of this. We're going to make an exorcist that just goes from one film to the next. But this movie I thought was really well done, and I think Russell Crowe is one of the reasons why this so anchored the film with his performance in this movie. It's a shame to me that the film isn't talked about enough and it doesn't give enough praise. It just was completely overlooked. I hear nothing about this film. So number 2 for you, Mr. Phillip.
All right, we'll see if this is the last one for Sarah. Smile 2. So Smile 2 is the sequel to Smile. I never saw the original Smile. I didn't when it came out.
Have you seen it now though?
I have not still seen it now. I need to, but like when it first came out, I wasn't really interested. I'm like, oh, whatever. Then they announced the sequel. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I watched the trailer, and the fact that it is about a pop star who is going through this smile curse, and is a whole breakdown about pop culture, pop star culture, and all that. I was fascinated. I'm like, I have to go see this movie. The trailer did such a good job in selling it, and it was phenomenal. Naomi Scott killed it in this movie, literally and figuratively. She did a great job the entire time. I love the the metaphor and allegory about pop culture, pop star culture, and all of that. It's such a great premise. And I loved every minute of it. The only reason it's not my number one is I had a problem with the ending. It did the twist thing where it's like, okay.
I love the ending to this one.
It's so good.
It's such a good ending.
It's such a good movie too. It was one of those ones where like I loved Smile, and I was like, how do you make a sequel about this without ruining the first? And they did it, and they did it better.
They did it
like you said, the whole pop culture thing, the whole like dance troupe of scary Smile people is so insane.
The cinematography, especially in her apartment, dude, that was freaking phenomenal. That whole sequence right there is worth watching.
So good, and the implications that the ending leaves. I don't even need a third movie, and I know they're gonna make it, and I know I'm gonna be disappointed, but I will be pleasantly surprised if they do the same thing that they did with this one.
I really love this. This film was number one for me. Considering all the horror movies I saw, this one, and I didn't like the first one. I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it. I just thought it was okay. I like, okay. And that's the reason why I didn't see the second one at the theater. I was like, and because the diminishing returns for sequels, in my opinion. But I like, dude, this movie outshines the first film 120%. I was like, and the implications by the end and cinematography, I was like, dude, this is how you do this right. I was like, holy shit. This was number one movie for me. Of course, we'll talk about some of the months I missed because we've already talked about some of them. But yeah, this was number one for me. I absolutely love Smile too. All right. So since we've already gotten to my number one, you two should have a number one left or one.
Yeah,
movie, right?
I have one left, and I tied it for first with Nosferatu.
Okay, so Philip, let's go with you first.
All right, let's see if we have different well, we already got Kevin's number one, so let's see if me and Sarah have a different number one. So my number one was Speak No Evil. So okay. So Speak No Evil was my favorite. I did not watch the original. So Speak No Evil is the American version of a Danish horror movie about this couple who end up meeting another couple while they're out on a trip, and the couple invites them to stay at their place. They both have kids, and there's a lot of weird shenanigans that go on. I really love this movie. For me, it is because the breakdown of everything was kindness. The whole movie is about what is the breakdown of like when someone's being too friendly, because the entire movie is about the main character getting put in these situations where it's like, if you've anyone who's been at a situation where they've been with someone that they've been like, they're trying to be friendly, but they're, they may want to go and stuff, and then they go and they say stuff, and you go, well, I don't want to be an asshole. I don't want to be. So I guess I'll stay, and that's the whole movie.
When do you stop being polite and say enough is enough?
That is the movie.
I saw the original one, and it made me so freaking angry. I was furious. I was like, why aren't these people fighting back? They're just being too polite. And apparently that's how it is overseas in other countries. And I was like, I hate to put on the like, in America we fight. But like, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you people not wanting to fight for your fucking child? And then I guess the American version actually did it better.
It did. It did it better because there are moments where it's like the character's about to get out and they say stuff and you go, and again, you fall for the same things of where you're like, okay, I get it. And again, James McAvoy, always good as a lead. He always does great, and he is the lead antagonist. And again, he does a good job of where it's like, and again, the only main difference between the two, and so this means a lot more for Sarah since she saw the original, is it ends differently. It does not end as it Americanizes.
Depressing.
Yeah, it's a very depressing ending. The American version Americanizes it, but for me, I was okay with that because of, and we can do I'll do a non-spoiler with you, Sarah, just since you haven't seen. So
No, I had to look it up after I heard it was so good, and I was like, how are people saying this is good? So I have to go back and watch it because I did spoil it for myself just to make sure it wasn't the same ending.
The original one?
No, yeah. I know the remake's ending. The original one is fucking stupid, and it's gonna make you angry.
Yeah, I think knowing how the original ended, I think their choice of changing it was a good choice. It was a good choice overall of what it was trying to say. And again, for me, it just hit all the thing. I just really enjoyed it.
Well, that one is on my list, and the original. I've not seen either one of them. I want to
watch the original first and then watch the remake.
Well, that's what I want to do because I have the same feeling for these two films as I did for Spoorloos and The Vanishing, which changes the ending to Americanize it, or both versions of Inside, which changes it to make it more. We Americans tend to want to Americanize the ending to a lot of these great foreign films because in America, Americans wouldn't necessarily act in the same way as some of the other films. I think Martyrs did the same thing when they did the remake of Martyrs. They changed the ending of it.
And that's why I think this conversation we're having right now is brilliant. It is basically the point of having the two movies because people in different countries would react differently based on what is happening in the movie. And that's part of it is like one family is British and one family is French. And so it's a whole division of cultures. And so it's the same conversation we're having right now, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah. Like, I love the Spoorloos and the Vanishing movies. They're both ending completely different. I think they both work. Something like, what was the other one I mentioned? Inside, I didn't like the American ending as much. And so I'm hoping that when I see both of these two, because they're both streaming and I have both access to both of them, I'll get the same thing. Because I was about to ask you which one should I watch first. Because I was about to say maybe I should watch the American one first. Or maybe I should watch.
No, watch the bad one first, and then watch the American one. Like I said, especially as a parent, Kevin, you're going to be very upset during the first movie.
Okay. All right. So, Panazzo, what's your number one or your last movie?
So I'm surprised. I'm guessing neither of you have seen this then, but I've tied it with Nosferatu because I went back and forth on this for a long time. I went with Oscar-nominated film The Substance. If you want to talk about straight body horror, especially in like the female form, it is a brilliant piece. And in what other movie would you have Dennis Quaid disgustingly slurping down a bunch of like raw fish and shrimp? And that is the most disgusting part of the film. But I loved it. I could watch this endlessly. It is up there with The Fly for like grotesque body horror. And then
that's
especially
high praise, right? That's high praise.
It really is, because it's all realistic. We were talking about this at work the other day, and the prosthetics these women wear to even perfect their own bodies to be that ideal image is just insane. And they both play the gorgeous versions of themselves, which is basically the normal versions of themselves. And then they play a horrific version of themselves as well. The prosthetics and the makeup are fantastic. The cinematography is brilliant. There's a bunch of Stanley Kubrick references, and Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley are just brilliant, playing the same person opposite each other. It is honestly probably one of the best movies that I could keep watching over and over from this year, no matter how many times you watch a Spinal Tap happen.
Okay. All right. So we have now gone over our top 10, and I want to actually discuss some of the films that may have not made your top 10 that we had not discussed. And I want to go first so I can tell you a little bit about some of the films that some of the films you already all have mentioned, but there was 3 on my list that no one mentioned that I wanted to say. First of all, and the first 2 are going to be mainly because of the performances. The first one's going to be Azrael, which has what's the name? Samara Weaving in it, and she carries this whole fucking movie. Like Ready or Not, she carries this whole freaking weird ass post-apocalyptic type movie that like came out. I'd never even heard of this movie. It was on Shudder. I was like, oh, Samara Weaving's in this. oh shit, maybe I should watch this. Now, none of the other performances in the movie can even come close to hers. But this is like a folk horror, weird post-apocalyptic fucking horror movie. And I was like, good thing she's in it because she carries this whole fucking movie. And she's almost silent, says nothing through most of the movie. It's kind of really crazy. But I don't think he gets talked about enough, but I think it's because of that. I think it's one of those films where she just holds the candle above everyone else in this movie. Now,
that one was on my list. I still need to watch it.
It's on Shudder, so you can always catch it on there like I did. The other one was Immaculate. I didn't really care for the movie that much, but I loved the performance in it. I thought that was what held the movie itself. I was like, everyone talked about this movie. I was like, the performances are good, but I was like, I see your hands just like my hands, like,
I have a lot of thoughts about this movie. Two main ones. The only reason why people saw it was Sydney Sweeney. Two,
go ahead.
People are obsessed with her, especially because of how gorgeous she is. And she's a great actress. I love watching her on White Lotus. I know she did great on Euphoria. She was in, what was that, like, young adult show on Netflix where they were, like, 8th graders or freshmen or something like that. She was in that when she was younger and brilliant. Absolutely love it. The only other comment I have about this, the reason why this movie was made is because the director wanted to put her in as many sexual and porn equal scenarios for the fans. Let's get her wet. Let's get her naked. Let's have her pregnant and being running through the woods. And
So I have no reference for any of that. I've never seen her in anything other than this movie. I literally only seen her in this movie and that's it. So I have none of that reference. I thought she was the strongest thing in the whole movie. And I guess that would put my perspective into why it was so popular because I had no clue about any of it.
It was literally only popular because of how naked she could get in this movie. And that is it.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I remember us seeing it and we both looked at each other like, what the fuck is that? I think we immediately followed it up with The First Omen, which I was surprisingly happy with until the immediate ending when they decide to go full Avengers Initiative on it. And I was like, okay, you could have just left this out of the movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either. I missed that one as well.
That one is really well done. I felt it really ties in with The Omen, like, spectacularly. The fact that we got that prequel as well as Apartment 7A this year.
Which I didn't see either.
We did double features with both of those where you watch the prequel and then watch the original. And I thought they were both really well done. Nice expansions on the universes.
Okay. Well, my last movie that just didn't make the cutoff is way too fun not to put on this damn list. And it's going to be Under Paris. I fucking had a blast watching this movie. A shark movie where the sharks infest Paris. And the way it ended at the very ending, I was like, holy shit, they went there. I don't know if either one of you saw Under Paris, but it's on Netflix.
No. I've seen clips of Under Paris. I saw and I was like, okay.
It's so fucking fun. It's like watching Deep Blue Sea, but in Paris. Like, dude, it's such a fun movie. It doesn't have this.
The clip I saw, Kevin, just to give you context, was the environmentalist going like, "No, we've got to protect the sharks." As she jumps into the water with all these sharks, we got to protect the sharks.
It is. It has a huge eco message because of the whole global warming and all that type of thing. So it's very topical. So by the end of the movie, when I'm pretty sure it's not on either one of yours lists, but by the end of the movie, when all of fucking Paris is underwater and the sharks have taken over, I was like, holy fucking shit, they did that. I was like, so our main character is stranded with a bunch of fucking sharks, and that's how they end the movie. Holy fucking shit. It's so fun. It's so fun. It's like Deep Blue Sea. You know, you read all.
I love Deep Blue Sea too. As bad of a movie it is, it's so much fun.
But it's fun. So those are my three. I'm sorry that I think we've mentioned all the films that I missed that I wish I'd seen, which was except for Maxine. No one mentioned Maxine.
it was a step down from the other two. Like you've got X, which was a great movie, Pearl, which attempted to
brilliant.
be whatever, and then Maxine was just like, what are you trying to make at this point? Because you've got three different kinds of movies mixed into one, and you're rewriting history with this and with this and with this, and it's just like, okay, whatever. I'm over it.
Oh, Jesus. But we mentioned everything else. I'm surprised none of us mentioned Terrifier 3. That was also one
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh.
My husband is not big on gore, and it's one of those that he wanted to watch. So we've been trying to wait for the right day to watch 2 and 3 because I love Terrifier. I thought it was so much fun. So Christmas Terrifier, right up my alley.
Okay.
But a couple of them that I also noticed we didn't mention, Beetlejuice. It's a spooky family fun movie.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I could have mentioned that because, but you know what? I kept thinking that that is nothing but a comedy, so I didn't even put that on my list.
Yeah, I it was in my top 16, and I was like, I can't put it as a top 10 because it's not horrific enough, but it was a lot of fun. I'm still singing the song every day that they sing in that one. Another one that I thought was brilliant was Netflix's It's What's Inside.
Still need to see that.
And basically it's a bunch of friends who get together and swap brains and bodies. And it is brilliantly shot with lighting and reflections and everything else of who's in whose body. It's a wonderful story, and I had so much fun watching it. It comes in really harsh, and it starts off like bodies, but it develops way past that, and it is so good.
Good. I wasn't a big fan of bodies. They had moments of brilliance, and then there was other moments that were not so much. Any other ones?
I had 3 what the fuck movies that I had heard incredible things about. I watched, and I still am questioning why these movies were made in good ways, and like, what the fuck did I just watch? The first one is The Coffee Table.
Oh yeah, that's on my list.
It's also currently on Shudder. Brilliant movie. It is the darkest comedy I have ever seen in my life. It is very intense. It is not for the faint of heart. I will put it that way. Okay. Red Rooms is a French-Canadian one that was also the same thing about a girl who is obsessed with a trial for this guy who murdered 3 girls. And the extent she goes through to sneak into the courtroom and everything else. I got to the end and I felt sick with myself for experiencing the rest of it.
Okay.
And the last one, which I was really excited to see, and it just left me really fucking confused, was Cronenberg's The Shrouds.
Oh, you got to see it.
Oh my God. I go in expecting anything else Cronenberg, and like, I come out feeling like I've only seen half of Crimes of the Future. And it's like every other bit and piece of it, I feel like I'm missing an entire part of the story. But it was so well done. It's beautifully shot. The acting is amazing, but I was just like, what the fuck is going on? But those are my 3 big what the fuck movies. So I do recommend seeing them just for the experience, but you will be asking yourself, what the fuck did I just watch?
That's why I have to watch the Cronenberg's film at the theater, because I can immerse myself into the movie when I watch there. I've realized that when I watch his films, if I'm watching it at home for the first time, I don't get into it nearly as much as if I see it on the big screen.
Kevin, this entire crowd got up and asked, what the fuck?
So I haven't had to do that since I originally saw Jacob's Ladder at the theater.
Okay.
Because I was like, what the fuck?
That one.
I had to rewatch it. And I saw that as a kid. I saw it as a kid at the theater, and everyone was standing up saying, what the fuck did we just watch? All right, Philip, what about you? Any last movies?
I saw Beetlejuice. Well, that's a podcast episode itself. I did not like it. But we can talk about that one later.
Okay.
Like I said off before we start recording, I've only saw 12 horror movies last year or thrillers. So this was a very easy list. Watcher was one of the ones that didn't make it. The other one, which probably no one has seen, and neither one of you know what the hell I'm going to say, is called ISS. It is
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. It is
International Space Station.
It's a thriller. It's a thriller sci-fi where basically it is a ship with Americans and Russians, and basically something happens on Earth. They see a bunch of explosions, and World War III is basically happening on Earth, and they go, "What do we do?" And that sounds like a great premise. And boy, did they do nothing with it. They could do so much interesting thrillers with it about what's going on, and it just becomes the most stereotypical, like, okay, I guess we just kill each other. There's nothing, it says nothing at all about anything. It is so boring to watch. It was the worst horror movie thriller I saw last year.
See, I thought that the setup was absolutely brilliant. I think the follow through, I agree with you. I think it becomes like there's another movie, Sunshine, where the follow through is less than interesting because it seems to want to be like a slasher almost, because they're just wanting to kill each other by the end of the movie. And that I hate when films do that. They have these great concepts, but then it gets ruined by one little element, like, and it's a high concept film. That's one of the reasons why it's a high concept film. Oh, Russians, Americans on the International Space Station, World War III breaks out, but who wants to control the space station? The Russians or the Americans? And that's where it kind of falls apart.
Because it could be a lot more psychological, because the whole point is they don't know what's going on. Neither side can reach down there, so they don't know what's happening at all. They don't know if their side's even still on Earth because of all the explosions. And like, that's the problem, is there could be so much more of like, okay, what do we do? And they just go, I guess we'll just kill each other. And like, that's it. There's so much profound. This could be so much, again, there could be so much psychological they can go on with that. And that they just kill each other off one by one.
Well, I saw this one at the theater when it came out because I like the concept of it originally, but then, like you, I was like, oh, so that's where they went with it. Okay.
Yeah. So he was like, okay, all right, that was a movie.
So surprisingly, I was hoping that one of you two would actually mention these other movies, but no one mentioned them, so I don't know if anyone's actually seen them.
Are they ones you've wanted to see or ones you have seen?
I have not seen these.
Okay.
So I did not see Alexander Aja's new film, Never Let Go, with Halle Berry.
I haven't either. No. It was on my list.
Or I saw The TV Glow. I have not seen that one yet.
That one's been sitting on HBO for the longest time, and I keep meaning to watch it.
Same here. Arcadian. I was surprised no one you mentioned Longlegs with Nicolas Cage, but no one mentioned Arcadian.
That one's also been on my list. It's on Shudder.
I know.
I've watched so many other movies, and you can't watch all of them.
You can't watch all of them. So those were the last ones that I just wanted to mention that none of us had seen.
I've got a whole list of ones we haven't seen, Kevin.
Jesus. Yes. Well, I have a whole list too, but you got to remember, when I was deep diving into my 2024 list, I decided to watch a lot of the lower budget indie films. And Shudder had a lot of great mediocre ones and good ones that had been released. But that was one of the things I wanted to deep dive in. I thought I was going to have enough time to watch all the mainstream ones, but I just never got around to it.
Yeah, I think I've gotten through a nice mixture of like wide release ones as well as some indie ones, because I saw a lot of these before. I managed to rent a lot of these before they hit Shudder, and I was really mad, but then I was like, I'm supporting artists. It's fine. It's all going to a good cause. Some of the other ones I saw were South Korea's Exuma, which was really well done. It wasn't one of my favorites, but I really enjoyed it. It's intense, it's spooky, but it takes a whole side of their culture that nobody in America talks about and shows you the whole side of exhumation and laying your angry loved ones to rest. Another one I saw was Monolith, which is very much like Pontypool.
Ooh.
So that one was really, it's slow, but it was good. And then Salem's Lot. I love the book Salem's Lot. It gave me nightmares as a kid. I love this director and what he did with it, and I feel like this should have been a mini series and they only gave him one movie because he hit all of the main best points of the book. But it was so fast, you didn't have time to appreciate the nuances and the characters for what they were. Lots of brilliant shots and scenes. I thought it was really well done. The acting was great. But it, like I said, they tried to shove so much into like a 2-hour movie, and there was not enough time to tell that in 2 hours.
No, they should have done it as a 2-part movie like they did fucking It.
They should have, and I think that's what he was pushing for. So I am here for the director's cut whenever he makes it available or whenever HBO makes it available.
Warner Brothers, they like to hide stuff now or put it on the shelf or resell it to other people.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, me and Philip had that conversation as well.
Yeah.
All right, is that it for you, Miss Panazzo?
I think so.
How about you, Phil? Any more? Are you good?
That's it.
All right. So it has been a pleasure talking to both of you with our top 10 films from 2024 horror films. We don't get to do this very often, and even though it's late, it's better late than never for most of us. And anyways, there's lots of award shows still going on, but we like to appreciate the movies in the year in which they were made, not like some awards calendars that they make up shit. So from all of us here at Something Wicked Entertainment, we want to hope that you've enjoyed this episode, the special episode. Make sure to check out some of our regular episodes that are released every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Make sure to like, follow, do that thing you do with your amazing podcasts out there. From all of us here at Something Wicked Entertainment, we want you to have a pleasant day. Thank you. Conversations in Horror is a Broken Lighthouse Pictures production, written, produced, and directed by Kevin L. Powers, executive producer Kelly A. Inoka. All contents and material from this episode of Conversations in Horror is copyright 2025 Broken Lighthouse Pictures.